Miami Heat's silent war. The arena was alive with thunder, the kind of noise that shook the floorboards, rattled the banners, and reminded every player that Miami wasn't just a city, it was a battleground. Under the bright lights, two titans prepared to collide. On one side stood LeBron James, the chosen one, the prodigy from Akron whose name had already become larger than the league itself. On the other, Dwyane Wade, the man they called Flash, the hero who had already delivered Miami its first championship and carved his name into the city's soul. This wasn't just another game. This was a declaration. Miami was Wade's kingdom, his house, his hardwood. And while LeBron carried the future of basketball on his shoulders, this night was about pride, legacy, and respect. The crowd leaned forward, sensing something bigger than a regular season clash. It wasn't about stats. It wasn't about standings. It was about who owned the stage when the lights were brightest. In that moment, Miami's silent war began. Chicago's underdog before Wade became the heartbeat of Miami. He was just a skinny kid from Chicago's South Side. His childhood was a storm, poverty, violence, and a fractured family. Nights when sirens were louder than lullabies, days when survival felt like a sport of its own. For Wade, basketball wasn't just a game. It was an escape, a lifeline, a dream too big for the streets that tried to contain him. At Marquette University, he was no longer just surviving. He was thriving. Carrying a mid-major team to the Final Four in 2003, Wade proved he wasn't just another guard. He was a force of nature. His style was fearless, his drives to the rim reckless yet beautiful. He played like someone who had nothing to lose, because in truth, he had already lost more than most. Every spin move, every acrobatic layup, every fearless attack at the basket came from a place deeper than talent. It came from struggle, from grit, from a hunger to be remembered. That hunger would one day face off against the league's brightest star, LeBron's ascension. While Wade was clawing his way to recognition, another story was being written in Ohio. LeBron James wasn't just a player, he was a prophecy, crowned the chosen one. Before he had even graduated high school, his games were broadcast nationally, his highlights treated like gospel. When the Cleveland Cavaliers selected him with the #1 pick in 2003, the league wasn't just welcoming a rookie, it was anointing its future. LeBron entered the NBA like a tidal wave, unstoppable and impossible to ignore. A teenager with the body of a freight train and the vision of a point guard, he wasn't just playing basketball, he was redefining it. His rookie debut wasn't an introduction, it was a warning. This was a player who could dominate every inch of the floor. But while the world obsessed over LeBron's every move, Wade was quietly building his own legend in Miami. Two men, two different paths, destined to collide under the brightest lights. Draft class of destiny, brothers but rivals. The 2003 NBA draft wasn't just another draft. It was a birth of a generation. LeBron at #1, Carmelo Anthony at 3, Chris Bosh at 4, and at #5, a name some overlooked, Dwyane Wade. LeBron and Melo were crowned as the next superstars, but it was Wade who would shock the world first. By 2006, in only his third season, he carried Miami on his back to its first ever championship, dismantling Dallas in the finals with a performance that ranks among the greatest of all time. Finals MVP, a city reborn, a legacy already carved. Meanwhile, LeBron was still climbing in Cleveland. Dominant, yes. Beloved, yes. But he was still searching for that ultimate validation, a ring. And as much as they respected each other, Wade and LeBron were now standing on opposite sides of destiny. Brothers by draft class, rivals by circumstance. Wade versus LeBron in Miami. It was one of those nights that felt scripted by fate. LeBron James, the most hyped player of his generation, walked into Miami ready to take command. But Wade had other plans. From the opening tip, the energy was different. Wade attacked with fury, slicing through defenders, soaring above the rim, crashing to the floor, and rising again like a warrior who refused to yield. The crowd erupted with every move, their voices echoing like a chorus declaring, "This is Wade's house." LeBron answered back, powering his way to the rim, throwing down thunderous dunks that shook the basket. But Wade kept coming. Crossover, pull-up jumper, fast break slam. Every bucket was a message. Every roar from the crowd was a reminder. Late in the game, with LeBron trying to mount a takeover, Wade unleashed a sequence that silenced all doubt. A steal, a coast-to-coast dunk, a dagger jumper over outstretched arms. The Heat bench exploded. The building shook. That night wasn't about stats or box scores. It was about dominance. It was about pride. It was about Dwyane Wade standing in front of the chosen one and reminding him that Miami already had a king. Brotherhood forged in fire rivalries are born in fire. But sometimes, so are brotherhoods. After the battles, the respect was undeniable. Wade admired LeBron's power, his vision, his relentless drive. LeBron respected Wade's toughness, his leadership, his fearlessness under pressure. At All-Star weekends, their bond became clear. On the Redeem team in 2008, they shared the court not as rivals but as allies, rewriting the image of American basketball dominance. Their chemistry was effortless, like two pieces of a puzzle finally snapping into place. That night in Miami had proved Wade's ownership, but in the long run, it laid the foundation for something even bigger. The idea that together, they could conquer the league. The super team that shocked the world. In 2010, basketball changed forever. LeBron made the decision, announcing to the world that he would take his talents to South Beach. In an instant, Miami became the epicenter of the NBA universe. Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, 3 All-Stars, 1 mission. But with that union came questions. Whose team was it now? Miami had always been Wade's city. He was the Finals MVP, the face of the franchise. Yet LeBron's arrival brought a new energy, a new power. Could 2 kings share 1 throne? The early days were tense, the balance delicate. Wade sacrificed shots. He stepped back, not because he wasn't capable, but because he knew what it would take to win. And with LeBron rising to his peak, Miami became unstoppable. 4 straight finals appearances, 2 championships, a dynasty born from sacrifice. Injuries, criticism, and sacrifice greatness never comes free. Wade's body began to betray him. His knees, worn from years of fearless drives and brutal landings, began to fail. The same explosiveness that once defined him now came in flashes, not floods. For LeBron, the weight of the decision brought relentless criticism. He was hated, booed, and scrutinized like no other athlete before him. Every missed shot, every stumble, was magnified. The Heat weren't just expected to win, they were expected to dominate. Wade sacrificed his prime so LeBron could shine. He gave up the ball, the spotlight, even his place in the hierarchy. It was a choice that cost him individually but gave Miami championships. The price of glory is heavy, and Wade paid it willingly. How Wade changed the game. When the dust settled, Wade stood tall as Miami's greatest. 3 championships, Finals MVP, an Olympic gold medalist, the pioneer of the Eurostep, the man who put Miami basketball on the map. LeBron may have been the global icon, but Wade was the heart of the Heat. His loyalty to the franchise, his willingness to sacrifice, and his unforgettable moments cemented him as more than a star. He was a legend. His rivalry and partnership with LeBron didn't just define an era, it elevated the entire league. Wade wasn't just a player, he was a symbol of loyalty, of resilience, of what it means to fight for your city and your legacy. Whose house was it really? That night, when LeBron stepped into Miami, Wade made sure the world knew whose house it really was. He didn't just win a game, he sent a message. Miami belonged to him, but history has a way of shifting the story. Years later, LeBron would raise banners in that same building, standing beside Wade, no longer as a rival, but as a brother. What began as a fight for ownership became a shared kingdom. So whose house was it really? That night, it was Wade's, always Wade's. But in the end, perhaps the house was never meant for 1 king. Perhaps it was built for 2.